Plus, tournament challenge brackets already filled out. How many will we reach before the dance tips off on Thursday? Welcome to ESPN Bet Live. I'm your host, Tyler Fulghum, joined by Joe Fortenbaugh and Erin Dolan. Should be a fun week for the squad here as we lead up to the dance.
No stress.
No stress.
Lots of games.
No.
I'd like to know how the algorithm works for that counter that keeps going up. How accurate is that?
Proprietary information, Joe, that we cannot share with the people. What we can share with you, though, is some nuggets to consider before you fill out your bracket or make your bets. One seeds, for instance, have won 13 of the last 17 titles. And of those 4 seasons where it wasn't a 1 seed, 3 of them were won specifically by UConn. If you're backing Michigan State or Alabama, be warned. 2 seeds have only made 1 appearance in the title game in the last 11 seasons. That was Villanova back in 2016. And if you're looking for a long shot, keep this in mind. The worst seed or highest seed to ever win the title was an 8 squad. That was Villanova back in 1985, you may recall. This year, you seem to be in love with one particular 1 seed, and that is the Duke Blue Devils. It appears Cooper Flagg will be available for this tournament, and since brackets were released last night, 40% of the total handle at ESPN Bet has been wagered on the Blue Devils to win it all. Auburn's the number 1 overall seed in this tournament. They're 4th most popular on that list. We'll get to Auburn in just a sec, but Duke is the top story here, Joe. They're getting a lot of early action from the people. Are you amongst that group that is firing on Duke right now?
I'm neither. Okay. I haven't bet it yet because at plus 320, like, what's the rush, right? Like, they can go out there and smack the 16 on Friday, and then is it going to change all that much outside of other number 1s going down in big upsets? I don't see a rush to play it. Question is whether or not you somehow bet against it. What's the anti-Duke case? Like, literally not a single word. Offense is good. Defense is good.
Serious.
Free throws are good. Three-pointers good. Battle-tested. Well-coached. The draw. Who in the region is going to give you any concern? Like, the best they have in the region is a 2-seed Alabama who has a wide variance. Like, when they're hot, they're hot. They're extremely difficult to beat. You saw them run to the Final Four last year, but they can run icy cold as well. So I haven't met anyone who's willing to fill out a bracket that involves less than 3 1 seeds. Most people I meet are just like, I'm going all chalk this year. But Duke, find me a reason to go against Duke. I haven't found it yet.
Okay, well, I have a surprise for you, Joe.
Okay.
Your buddy Stanford Steve's going to be on the show with us here today. Steve, can you find a reason to maybe bet against the Blue Devils in this region?
First off, can we say happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys?
I know, I'm the only one in green.
Can I say happy birthday to my nephew, Eli James? Happy 10th, Eli. Appreciate you. But about Duke, Joe, you just saw the numbers. You can't take Duke. 40%. 40%. In the wildness that is the bracket, I can't do it. I see all that's been said, and to your guys' point, you just see everybody picking 1s and 2s, and that's why I love this. You go against the grain. There's so many other options. No one, like, everybody's talking about an 8-9 UConn that could possibly beat Florida. Louisville's playing in Lexington. They could knock off Auburn. No one has mentioned Mississippi State and Baylor that could knock off Duke. That can happen. It's not that far-fetched. And then when you look down at Arizona's got guards that could play with them. You saw what Caleb Love did to Duke a couple years ago. I think there's just the change that could happen in whatever games that, the times that are going and people getting knocked off. It's too much to have 40% on Duke. And I will take my shot with the field and the rest of that bracket. I have 5 teams in that region that I have on my list before the tournament that could win it all. Wow. And I think there's plenty of capability from the teams in that region to knock off Duke even before they could possibly get to San Antonio.
To be fair, he didn't give a single critique of Duke, their path, their opposition, their roster, nothing. Just the fact that lots of people like them is the anti-Duke point. It's interesting.
But I mean, I feel like we kind of bring up this point, regardless of the sport, when the entire public is on one thing, let alone Duke, who, by the way, how's Cooper Flag actually going to look? I guess you can make that's at least one argument. All right, maybe.
It took about 5 minutes to
I
get
wasn't
to
allowed
that
to
one
speak
story.
until 5 minutes. Welcome to coming to ESPN Bet Live. Can't speak for 5 minutes. But nonetheless, I mean, look, they did go on that 19-1 run to finish the regular season. They're a good team, but 40%, and you're going to tell me I'm going to pick them to win it all when everybody and their mother is on Duke? There's no way that I will be doing that. I'm procrastinating on filling out my bracket, which is not surprising with my personality. But I mean, any of the 1 seeds could be kind of difficult to make a case against to some extent. So I agree with Steve. Way too many people on this, but also Joe makes a lot of great points that there's not a great case against them either. But it is March Madness. Crazy things happen.